Hello and welcome to iamGEEK, and this is episode 283. I'm Ryan, joined by my brother Chris and my good pal Katrin.
Heyo!
And not one, but two special guests tonight. It is a round table, so of course Ray Chase is here with us, animator Ray Chase, and from Living with the Landspeeder, the other greatest podcast in the world. I started to say Derek the Frank. That's what I call him. Derek Frank or the Derek Frank on all your social medias.
It's pronounced the.
Not the.
Depends on what side of the equator you're on.
No.
You're wrong.
Welcome, guys.
Well,
Tonight is a very exciting night, but it's a sad night because it's come to an end. But it's exciting because
The night has
great.
come to it?
No, the show
That was a good episode, guys. Thanks for having me.
The show that we're going to be talking about, we are going to be discussing Ahsoka. It has ended, so this will be a very spoiler-ly episode. There will be spoilers galore. Yes, that's a word.
I went to high school with her.
Yeah, she was nice. There's going to be all kinds of spoilers. So if you haven't finished Ahsoka, first off, how dare you? How dare you? But anyways, go finish it and then come back. Or if you want to be spoiled, just stick around. What in the world? So professional.
That was a spoiler sound. Alert!
Yeah, so Katrin and I do a podcast show with Derek called Living with the Landspeeder. So if you haven't checked that out, go over to Living with the Landspeeder on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, where we Star Warsify Disney attractions. So it's really fun. But
Yes.
so we'll be doing that next week. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay. Ahsoka has ended. I don't know. So, sometimes we come on here and sometimes people like it and people don't like what the show we're talking about. If one of the members tonight of this roundtable does not like Ahsoka, there is people waiting outside your door.
Should I go?
Yeah, you should go.
Should I step out as well? Maybe?
I'm just gonna right off the bat. I never start this thing. But I'm going to tonight because I don't want any Debbie Downers to ruin my excitement. Wow. I'm just being silly. This was my favorite Star Wars show that has ever been created. I liked it better than Andor. I liked it better
than the holiday special.
Book of Boba Fett. That's not a series. I mean,
It was a show.
That's not a series. Star Wars series. Live action series. I liked it better than Mandalorian. I know. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say I liked it better than Mandalorian, but I did. To me, this felt like, and we'll get into this, it felt like original trilogy, old school Star Wars. And I can already tell Ray's going to say, I don't like it, which is fine. This show was so fun to watch. But here's the thing. I think one reason that I loved it so much is because I'm a big fan of the Clone Wars and I'm a big fan of Rebels. And I loved both of those animated series. And this just brought everything together. This show just made, it played off of those shows and those characters, which made it perfect for me. If you didn't watch Rebels, which again, how dare you, or Clone Wars, then you're going to be confused. And I know Katrin was a little confused, like a tiny bit. I know some people that hadn't watched it were like, I don't know what's going on. But this was sort of like, to me, like this was for the Rebels fans. This was for the Clone Wars fans. Dave Filoni did that. So, with that said, I just wanted to get that out front. That's how much I love the show. So I'm going to be like having fun with this. Let's get into it. So we haven't talked about the last 2 episodes. So I think maybe we should talk about the last 2 episodes and
Yes.
then sort of do like a full like what we thought of the whole series together. Does that make sense?
So much sense.
So much sense.
All the sense. Every of the sense.
All right. So what? Just initial thoughts for the last 2 episodes. Derek, I'll start with you. What did you think going into those last 2 episodes?
I was really nervous on how they were going to really start portraying Ezra, and was he just going to come out as this like massive, super strong Force user, and they didn't, and I love the way that they did it, and I think having him not want to take the lightsaber was such a huge part of that, and showing like, I don't know, like, what do you guys think? Do you think he didn't want to take it because he wasn't ready, or
I think because of who he had been living with for however long, because that society that he was in this nomad society where their basically their offense was their defense, like that whenever something would try to attack them, they would just go into their shell and play defense. And I think that was part of it, that he'd been in this defense society for so long that he's like, I don't want the lightsaber right now. I'm going to use my defense, which was his force push and his force pull and his force. To me, that's how it read to me. He was sort of this like this force Jedi monk type thing.
Do you think he honed in on those skills during that time? Like he put those up. Like, was he that powerful before he ended up there, or did he become more powerful there because he didn't have the light?
I think he became more powerful there. He was more powerful in this show than when we last saw him.
I read it as him not taking lightsaber as it wasn't his anymore to take. It was Sabine's at that point. He had kind of given it to her. She had used it. It was for her training. And he kind of sensed that she would probably need it more than him. And he had moved on from that saber and he had evolved past that one until he made a new one, because he was like, I could see what you're saying, but at the same time, he also like picked up a gun and started shooting them too.
that was kind of my thought. I'm like, he was doing some offense, and then like you saw the little mini Ninja Turtle guys like shooting the slingshots, like, from the beginning. It kind of took you back to the beginning of Rebels, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, but
he did look like a Star Wars monk or Moses or something.
Yeah. I think he did learn from that group that he was with, and offensive stuff. But to me, that's how it read to me. It was like it was the saber was already passed on, so it was no longer his. At least he didn't grab it and throw it over his shoulder. So.
Yeah,
and it was going to be time for him to make his own, like you kind of said. In the next episode, he makes his own, and that's when he feels like it's really his, I guess, to take.
He probably could have taken the saber, and that fight would have been a lot shorter. He could have said, "You know what? Let's just get this over fast." Because I mean, even when Shin came in, he basically took her out with nothing, with just using the Force,
or maybe he was doing it. Maybe he was doing it to give Sabine a little bit more trust.
Yeah,
like you keep it. Like, I trust you to use that. Although he probably doesn't know. She probably shouldn't have at that point.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't tell him anything.
Midway through the fight, he's like, how about, why don't you just give me the lightsaber for now? It just looked a little dirty. I just want to clean it up a little bit. Why don't you use your blasters?
You stay over there. Use your blasters.
Yeah, which funny. Later on, Ahsoka does. I think it's Ahsoka that tells her that. Use your blasters now. Like,
yes.
Which is funny. But yeah, I thought that episode. I thought it was good. I thought sort of them not really getting to know each other again, but getting back in the swing of things with that friendship dynamic was cool.
Plus, we got C-3PO.
That was amazing. I really loved that. I thought that was a good way to fix the Leia problem, or the Carrie Fisher problem, if you want to say that. To have C-3PO be the messenger, because of the real world, we couldn't have Leia show up.
Well, you could. You just have to recast.
Yeah, but nobody wants
or do more like CG face stuff, which you probably don't want to do now.
I like this way because it showed that she was an important person in the
in the universe.
Yeah, in the Resistance,
in the story.
In the story. So she wasn't there. She was off doing something else. But we got to see C-3PO, and then the whole line with the, why should we listen to a droid or whatever? Or droid, what a droid says, and then Chopper's like, "Hold me back," which I thought was hilarious. It's like he's gonna straight up murder that dude. We're gonna see that guy laying in a gutter later on with Chopper rolling away from him. Ray, you're awful quiet. What did you think of that episode before the last episode?
That was, of them all, that was probably the one that I liked the best.
Oh, okay. What did you like about it?
The pacing was better. Stuff got moved along. I did like the C-3PO bit. That was pretty cool. I felt like there was more plot advancement there than happened in a lot of the previous episodes. I mean, I thought it made me excited that maybe they would, continue that into the final episode. And then I saw the final episode.
Wow.
Well, episode 7 did get a 88 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes, it was good.
Pretty good.
It made me wish the other. I think that I texted to like Chris and some other folks that watch it at work that it took us 7 hours to get there because that episode was solid. I like that one a lot. So.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. I would
88.
have to agree.
See, I wasn't the only person.
It's good. I'd have to agree. I think that was the best episode out of all of them because the cinematography got really good in that one. The characterization kind of took a step forward in it. There wasn't a lot of long pauses, which I've said before on the show. That I just feel like there's some really long pauses for sometimes. It just to me it just gets to me. But yeah, the fight scenes were good overall. Like the fight scenes through the whole show, I think I've enjoyed. But yeah, that episode it was good. Yeah, and I like C-3PO and I liked seeing the three of them come together and the her Ahsoka, the whole bit where they're flying low and she leaps out and goes into the battle was really cool. I liked it.
I liked it.
I liked it a lot.
Very nice.
Katrin, you got any thoughts?
It was good.
Nice.
Well, we haven't really talked about like Thrawn very much either.
Yeah. So Thrawn learns in this episode that Ahsoka is Anakin's apprentice, right?
And he is visibly shaken.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not sure if what that really means. Does that mean he knows that she's probably trained to be very good at what she does, right? But also could she be bad or could she be good? Which way does she go? But she knows she's good, but still it's kind of scared of him.
Yeah, he says something like, are you sure there's only one?
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Starfighter coming.
Right.
So who else does he think it would be coming?
Yeah. Does he think that Vader's not dead, or what?
Well, I
Look,
I don't think
so
I don't think that.
has anybody the Timothy
He's been
Zahn
gone.
series? That's I think because that's canon.
Yeah, I think this is all leading to Heir to the Empire. I mean, pretty much.
Right, but even after Heir of the Empire, I think it was I think Zahn did a book series of just Thrawn, and I can't remember if it was in that series or in the comic series. But when Thrawn was younger, he figured out that Vader was Anakin, and that made me, when he was talking about her apprentice was Anakin Skywalker, I was wondering, are they going to lean into that? Are they going to lean into the fact that, when he was younger, he kind of figured it out, so he kind of knows what Anakin became, and there was a little bit of a theme in this show about you are the summation of everything that came before, so that you are, I am very much my master, who was Kenobi, and you're very much me, Anakin Skywalker, who's also Vader. So if that's a little bit of him starting to be like, oh, I don't know if I want to mess with you because you might go psycho on me.
I just, when he said if it's the only starship coming, I wondered if the Night Sisters had, because they see into the future, or they're all seeing, or whatever you want to call it. I wonder if they said earlier that we didn't see, there's somebody else that's strong out there, which would be Luke. So it's going to be interesting when he gets, because we know he gets back to the other galaxy, that when hopefully we see him come in contact with Luke, when he finds out that Anakin had a son, because that's going to be crazy.
See, that kind of rolls in my thing with the whole 3PO thing, is that I feel like at a certain point, because if they want to do Heir to the Empire, they have to almost recast or do digital zombie faces, because the original three and Lando, they're all over Heir to the Empire. It's all them, and even if they want to rewrite some stuff and have some, like Chewie and Han take a back seat, and if it's just Luke that's in the forefront, it's like, you can't have video game Luke Skywalker the whole time. Just recast him. It'll make it cheaper and just better on everybody.
Ready to go, right?
Yeah, I mean, just do it. We understand that they're old. We understand. We'll get it.
I think they're going to take elements of Heir to the Empire. They're going to make it work, and I think certain character, there's an idea floating around that while we won't get, and this is while we won't get Mara Jade, that somebody else will take on that role.
Why can't we get Mara Jade?
Well, we could, but there's an idea that maybe the Shin role is going to become that role.
No.
That's just an idea that's been floating around. I didn't say
that's a bad
what's
idea,
going to happen. I don't think we're going to get a pure Heir to the Empire, but I think we're going to get elements from it, because Heir to the Empire didn't have Ahsoka, didn't have Ezra Bridger, and those characters aren't just going to be like, okay, you guys take over, and we're going to do this book, and we're going to go into another part of the galaxy.
We're kind of doing that now, where it's like, oh, Luke's alive, but he's not in this. And like,
it'll be like a
Grogu's
Marvel
out there, and there's different things. And Cal Kestis, it's like, I was hoping Cal would come in, but I don't know.
I wish, if we didn't have the sequels, I wish that, or maybe they can just make those go away, that they would form a new Jedi, or a Jedi, I wanted to say round table.
Temple?
Order.
The Jedi round table.
Call it Order 66.
And have because the temple's still there. The Jedi temple's still there, or at least it was in Return of the Jedi on Coruscant. It's still there. So they could have Grandmaster Luke, Grandmaster Ahsoka, Master Cal Kestis, Master Ezra Bridger. Maybe Mace comes back. I don't know. For another Grandmaster.
Sabine.
We still don't know if he's dead. for sure.
Sabine will never be granted the title of master.
Yeah, Sabine will never be granted the title of master. But that would have been cool. But we can't really. I don't think they could do that now.
Yeah.
Because you have all these cool Jedi now that are canon, that are in the universe. If they came together to form this new Jedi Order, that would be sweet. But they're not going to do it because of the Disney sequels, unless those get thrown away.
Well, and the problem is, again, if Heir to the Empire is just a name only and the story is completely different, the idea that you could have a galactic threat of this magnitude and not have the heroes of Endor be there in any capacity is just silly. I mean, you have to have them there. Even if it's just like a hollow of Lando, like, yeah, I'm doing this thing and da 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 da. I mean, you got to have like Luke walk on or something like that, or get the kid that played Han in the Solo movies to come back and be Han again. I don't care. Get Donald Glover to play. Lando.
Oh, he would do a fantastic job.
Get Ben Barnes in there to play Luke.
Yeah, totally. I mean, just you just need these characters to be present. Otherwise, it just feels like when you have like an Ant-Man movie or a Thor movie, and it's like, oh, it's a cataclysm that's going to destroy the Earth, and there's no Avengers here except for me. It's like
exactly.
It becomes Secret Invasion. Where like, sure you don't want to call the Avengers? No.
I got it. I got it.
I have faith that Filoni will make it work somehow, even if they bring back, or if they bring in new actors, as long as they do it right and tasteful, I think it'll work.
Sure.
Well, the other thing I'm wondering if they're going to do is part of one of the Thrawn books in that series. Thrawn and Anakin were on Batu together because they were looking for Padme. If you guys haven't read this series, it's fantastic. But like, are they going to introduce Batu into some of these series, because Ron is already back?
They should, because that would fix the Batu problem.
And then you could eventually add Vi in there.
Yeah.
And all of the characters that are in Batu, and then you could kind of start erasing the new trilogy out of the parks.
Yeah, just imagine with a walk around Thrawn.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
I mean, they already have in Disneyland. They're already sort of doing this because they have Ahsoka walk around. They have Mando, Boba Fett, Hera, Chopper,
and they should. I mean, because guests don't care about the timeline. They just want to see the characters that they like. They don't care about, oh, well, this doesn't happen within this time period. I mean, who cares?
Right. Yeah. Well, you can have Thrawn and Vader because he worked with both. He worked with Anakin and Vader. So it's like, I think that'd be pretty awesome if they did like a stage show, like with on the Empire side with the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought during the Kenobi show it would have been awesome to have Vader and the Inquisitors walking through Galaxy's Edge looking for Kenobi.
Kenobi!
That would have been amazing.
Missed opportunity.
I know, totally. Complete missed opportunity.
All right.
Doesn't fit within the timeline of the holocron star. Whatever.
We know that
the Glorian.
We know that the next show, though, well, maybe not next show, but one of the shows they're bringing is the Skeleton Crew.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's going to be a movie that has Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think that's what this is leading to. The Heir to the Empire will be that movie trilogy. Maybe a trilogy. Maybe. It might. I mean,
everything's got to be a trilogy.
It feels like it almost feels like a DC or Avengers like big movie of like, we introduced all these characters. Now they're gonna fight together to.
That's totally what they're doing.
Started with Favreau, just like Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next season of Mandalorian is going to continue part of this story, probably, but in a different point of view, and then we'll have that movie that brings everybody together. I think, I'm pretty sure, unless they're just going to throw a curveball and be like, "No, we're going to go back to Rey Skywalker as a little girl." Anyway, so that was episode 7.
Anyway.
All right, and let's move on to episode 8, and then because we sort of got distracted, and that was my fault. Episode 8, the finale,
The Jedi, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes. That's not what it was called, though. What was it called?
Yeah.
It was the Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord.
Warlord.
Yeah.
Warlord.
Heavy on the eye roll.
I
That
I
was
really
cool.
like this episode. I know some people didn't care for it as much that I've read.
I
and
loved
stuff.
it. I thought the
Yes,
fighting was amazing.
fighting was great. The Night Sister element to it, how they brought back the sword from the Great Mother, I thought was really cool.
Can't
That's
wait till that shows up in Parks.
Yeah, that was in Clone Wars, and that sword was used. The Great Mother, or whatever she's called, used that sword to fight Mace Windu, and then the sword.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's bad, but you sort of have to watch Clone Wars and Rebels to really get the full scope of everything that's happened in the show. So what they did when they said, "Are you sure you want to accept this, even if it means death?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then they did the green power things, and you hear these like groaning voices and stuff in the background. She's basically, her Night Sister markings appear on her face, and then the sword comes back. So the sword disappeared in Clone Wars after that fight, I believe. It's been a while, but so that was the Great Mother's weapon, and you could battle lightsabers with it, and that's why they had it with this ancient magic. So she used that sword, and then that fight scene between her and Ahsoka, when Ahsoka's lightsaber, one of her lightsabers, gets cut in half, I was like, it all makes sense now. Why Hasbro only brought out one lightsaber for Ahsoka for their Black Series? Because everybody kept saying, why isn't there two in a set? Well, I guess they were basing it on this show for the last episode where she loses one. So they just brought out the one. Because you can't buy two of them because they're, different sizes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they just brought out the one. And I noticed in the show overall, there was a lot of times when she was fighting that she only used one lightsaber.
She used two the entire time, except when it was plot convenient to only use one.
No, she like
when Balin had to beat her and knock her over the cliff.
But I'm saying there was times where she just used one, so it made why they only brought out that one makes sense. But anyways, I thought the whole sending out basically the zombie troopers was really cool. When the troopers went out to fight, let's try to stop Ahsoka and Ezra and Sabine. And then they killed them all, and then they used their magic to bring them back.
The only thing about it, though, is that they were, walking slowly and kind of acting like zombies, and then all of a sudden in this next scene, they're running like normal. And I was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
It was a little bit like Thriller, like, yeah. I told my son, I was like, "Hey, if this was like
did
a
they
network
fully
show,
come back to life though? Like, was it a time thing?
I don't know."
Yeah, the Night Sisters magic is weird because they've brought people back before, and basically when they come back full force, just like the person that was with
not Modoc,
Merrick.
Merrick, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he came back full force. So the Night Sisters magic,
yeah,
I think that was a little nod to because everybody's always wanted zombie stormtroopers. So I think when they were coming back all zombie like, that was just a little nod saying, "Hey, here's your zombie stormtroopers."
And that's what they did in Jedi Fallen Order too. So when you're fighting them, you keep getting the zombies, then you'll kill them, and then they'll come back. And I thought that was kind of cool. But that's also where I'm thinking, like, is Cal going to come in this next season?
That would be cool.
Because he has fought them and he knows. And if anybody's played the newest game,
they end up. What planet do they end up on at the end, Thrawn? Where do they?
I'm not sure what planet that was.
Dathomir.
Dathomir. That's the planet of the Night Sisters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. They did say Dathomir.
Yes.
Yeah. Which it looks like they're going to be bringing back a whole army.
Because that's what they were loading up, right? Like,
I'm pretty sure they were coffins. Yeah.
But coffins of other witches.
I think it's Thrawn's, basically Thrawn's army. Yeah.
Why not resurrect them now?
Because I think they have to go to their home planet Dathomir to get the greatest power to bring back that many.
Oh,
Maybe it's a bunch of the dead turtle people.
No.
maybe.
I mean, they're pretty handy.
I mean, it could
Mhm.
be Night
Yeah.
Sisters, like, but I don't
I
think, it
think
would
they're
be.
all White Walkers. That's what I think they are.
Yeah,
It's gone beyond the wall.
but
You've gone beyond the galaxy.
yeah, they're gonna bring back, but I think the twist is gonna be the Night Sisters are gonna control them and try to resurrect their power and take over. Because the whole time that we see the Night Sisters with Thrawn, there's this sort of side eye, like, yeah, we're playing along. Let's get back to the other galaxy, to our planet, and then heck's gonna break loose. Because Thrawn tells his forces to shoot down the temple to try to kill Ahsoka, basically. And there was a side eye with the Night Sisters, like, oh, you want to destroy our temple? Okay. See what happens when we get back.
See, and that again, that's where Cal and Marin could come in, because they fell in love at the end of this last game, and Marin obviously was Night Sister, and now she's kind of flipped to the good side. Is there going to be I think they have to.
Yeah,
them.
I would love
I
to
want
see
them
them.
to.
I would love to see them. Trying to think what else happened in that episode.
That's it.
The force jump and push, the jump and push.
Oh, the force jump and push. That was cool. I liked it.
Was it cool?
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool.
To me, okay. So she's dying. She's getting choked to death, and she managed to barely summon a lightsaber to her hand. And she's like, you know what? I can push you now.
I know. If I was Ezra, I'd be like, you've been a Jedi for 2 minutes. I mean, you're going to push me across this chasm? I don't think so. I'll push you across the chasm.
It only takes once. It only takes once.
Yeah.
I push you, and then you shoot me a rope.
It was trust. It was showing that he trusted her to do what needed to be done. I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read too much in it because I enjoyed it. It was just a fun time. It wasn't Shakespeare. It was Star Wars, and it was fun. And they've done crazier stuff in Star Wars that make absolutely no sense.
The only problem is when Ezra, he gets the ship while he's on the ship. Why didn't he just start lighting that thing up from the inside?
Yeah, or he could have I thought he was gonna commandeer one of their ships, fly down there, get them, and then fly back up.
Guys, it was just fun.
He wouldn't have made it
fun.
Not Shakespeare.
Fun stuff.
He wouldn't have made it back in time. If he went down there, he would have been stuck with them. He couldn't fly a ship down and get back and go into hyperspace with the big ship that was going into hyperspace.
No, I'd say he did exactly like they did, but he gets one of the ships on board and then he just lights it up from the inside.
Oh yeah, he could have just destroyed it from the inside. I don't know why he didn't do that.
But then get back though too.
But then you got to make the story go along. That would be the end, and then there would be no movie. There would be nothing. It would be a movie of young Rey growing up.
No,
nobody wants that.
He could have sabotaged the ship and then gotten away.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know if he sabotaged. I mean, we don't really know.
I mean, they were sort of building it up like these two were arch enemies, right? Ezra and Thrawn. They were like,
Oh, they are like
Superman and Lex Luthor, and he's like, I have an opportunity here. I'm gonna leave and go find the New Republic.
Okay, well, I'll give you this then. How many times did Superman have an opportunity to kill Lex Luthor and he didn't do it?
Well,
I'm not saying kill Thrawn. I'm saying
Superman's a sissy.
Justice.
Yeah.
Superman's a giant sissy. Let's not play this game.
I'm just saying.
I mean, if it was a Batman Joker,
Thrawn is scared of Ezra. That's why he wanted Ezra there, because Ezra's the only one that stopped him the first time. So he is scared of Ezra. Now, knowing that Ahsoka was the Padawan of Anakin, he's scared of her.
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to leave them both there, but that didn't happen. So Ezra, the one that stopped him first, is back. And I like the reunion at the end.
know that Ezra's back. Thrawn doesn't.
No, Thrawn doesn't know.
But yeah, even if he didn't go take down Thrawn, I don't see the point in leaving unless he knows their plan exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He may.
Like if he figured out the plan and then went to Hera, or
well,
it was
maybe
that was all just a little weird, you know. I mean, and I get the cinematic thing with him landing on the ship and still being in full stormtrooper costume to, you know, take off the helmet, but it's like, really, you're in an Imperial ship.
Yeah, and they made that mistake in like the first episode where they just
that was Balin's ship. It was the same ship.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
is this the same ship? And those guys
time's
killed our
gotta be
whole crew. Yeah, I know.
oh, the bad guy actually walks off. This has gotta be okay.
Well, he doesn't look like a dark Jedi. And stormtroopers shoot bad, so I think we got this.
I like the Chopper, and I like the reunion.
And that's basically why they did it. I mean, they wanted to have that reunion shot. It's just plot wise, necessarily, it doesn't quite make sense, but it was a fan service moment, I think, basically.
And again, for someone that didn't watch Rebels, the gravity of that was completely lost on me. I was just like, I don't know why, because I don't understand at that point, I was like, I don't understand the relationship you two have or what your past is. And the show of 8 hours never filled in any of that information for me.
Yeah.
So
and it was the same with my wife. Like when he showed up, she's like, so is that the dad of her kid? I was like, no.
And you were like, yes, it is.
Wrong one.
Papa's home.
It could be. There were some times.
They had that one night.
No, there wasn't.
You didn't see the
we were force pushing each other over huge gaps, and it was nuts.
We've all seen the memes that we share back and forth. So.
I mean, I said it on another episode that, I mean, really, this show was made for people that loved Rebels, and you know, I'm sorry that some people don't get it because they didn't watch Rebels, but I don't.
Sorry, not sorry is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, this show was made for Rebels, and I don't think they could have.
I have a major problem with that, because if Mara Jade showed up on the show and introduced herself as Mrs. Luke Skywalker, me personally, having read the books, I would have been like, they're doing it. Mara's here, Luke's wife. And for people that had not read the books, they would be like, what's going on? And then I'd be like, well, you know, if you read the books that are 20 plus years old, you'd understand what's going on here. This isn't made for you.
You can say that about literally any series. Like if somebody came into Force Awakens without seeing the original trilogy and be like, who's this Han Solo guy?
But that is episode 7 of 9 movies. This was not called Rebels season whatever they were on, 6 or 7. This was called Ahsoka.
But it's part of the Star Wars canon.
You wouldn't even know who Ahsoka is if you didn't have Clone Wars.
Yeah,
well, but I argue that you could, if they had done flashbacks like they done on One Piece. Right? They could have explained who Ahsoka was. They could have showed her with Anakin and explained that she was his Padawan and build up the relationship that they had. But instead of having character development, he just assumed that you knew the characters from the get-go and did not do any character development, did not advance anything. He just basically assumed that you knew the characters, you knew their history, and then payoffs that would happen because you watched all the other material. When Balin's standing there in front of these statues, I had no idea the significance of this. I was like, why are we ending on this? I guess this is important. And then I read, oh yeah, well, you see in the show, these were the statues. I'm like, there was no indication of this at all during the entire show. And I don't know. I just feel like it's fine to make stuff and have Easter eggs and whatnot for super fans, but at the same time, if it's not going to be a number in a series of shows, you cannot assume that people have done all this watching and reading and so forth. I mean, the time that they spent. What's
You could say
that?
that about any series, though. Like, you could say that about
Yeah.
Loki. You could say that about, I mean,
They do a fantastic job in the first episode of Loki showing the history of Loki and showing everything, basically showing him his life, which is catching up people that may not have watched all the movies to understand what's going on there. I feel like this show made no attempt to do that whatsoever.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, I tend to agree. I watched Clone Wars and I watched Rebels, so I knew bits and pieces, but some stuff I didn't remember. So even if like they did it in Clone Wars and Rebels, where they would have like an opening of the guy talking like the blah 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 blah. This happened and this happened and this and now our heroes are doing this. Like going like just something that could like catch them up because Filoni did that in the shows and it worked and it kind of it kept because there's so many characters in Clone Wars and stuff. And to kind of reintroduce them a little bit at the beginning of the show to like, okay, these are the characters you're seeing in this episode. So you know kind of bits of what's happening. Because I mean there were Star Wars characters that I didn't know, like in Clone Wars and stuff, and they did like a little bit and you could understand it. And I think it could have worked a little bit into that show. It didn't have to do like a recap piece by piece.
Sure.
But even if like when that Night Sister Saber showed up, I totally forgot about that. If there was just some line or some enchantment that the witches were saying that would like indicate that this is something special rather than, oh, here's a sword, we just gave you a sword.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think either way, somebody wasn't going to like it. Like if you had explained, if you'd have sat there and explained everything, the people that watched Rebels and Clone Wars would be like, yeah, we spent years on this. We know all this. Let's move it along in the story because I know what all this is. I know who all these characters are. Even the characters I didn't know, I wasn't like, well, tell me more about Balin. Like I liked it. You know, it was a new character. But I think either way, you're going to have people saying, I didn't like it because I didn't know the characters because I didn't watch Rebels. Or you're going to have people saying, I didn't like it that well because they basically just recapped all of Rebels.
Like they did with Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
They don't. Yeah, I mean, it's not like
it's different. Yeah,
it's not even a matter of recapping. It's just a matter of at least having dialogue. There were so many times where things were just so slow and people were just kind of sitting around looking at each other that they could have used that time for some character building. I mean, explain to me why Ezra is important to you. I don't need to know every adventure you ever went on, but I need to know why you want to go find him so terribly bad. I mean, you know, is this your boyfriend? Is he your brother? I have no idea why this guy is so important to you. And I don't think you need to do a whole lot of exposition to explain that, but at least give the audience something so that I know why you are going to basically betray the entire galaxy for this one person. And I just felt like, you know, the show didn't provide that information. So I was really sort of like, I don't get the stakes here. I don't know why she's doing what she's doing because I just don't get it. The show's not telling me. It's not giving me the information that I need. I don't need the whole story. I just need the important bits, you know?
Yeah, I can agree with that point of view for sure. I think for me, what it comes down to is who's the audience? Like, did they put this show out because they thought it was going to get new Star Wars fans? Probably not. Like, it's not a standalone series at all. Like, you're not just going, I don't think anyone really is just going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to watch this show because of the cast or because it's a female lead in Star Wars or whatever it is. It's another extension for Star Wars fans. If you're just a casual fan and you haven't watched all the cartoon stuff, then totally understand where you're coming from. And I agree. But if you are like Ryan and I, where you just want content, constant content, and you just want to see all of these stories develop and dive in, to me, like I liked how they didn't rehash it. But I'm also with Ray too, where there was some dead space. Like when Sabine is just like standing there, It's like that was like 15 minutes that she just stood there.
Derek,
Like,
you know that you like
Yeah,
watching
it's-
her just stand there.
oh, that's not the problem. Trust me, that's not
That's
the
the problem.
problem. They're all. Trust me, that is not the problem.
Yes, yeah.
They could have had her talking.
That
Or
would have been a great moment to like have some like, you know, some dialogue about Ezra, or just, I don't know. I mean, there's just so, that was the thing. I mean, Chris and I had talked about it at work, and he was like, well, you know, Filoni's very used to, you know, the shorter animated format, and I'm like, I understand that. However, there was so many periods where like not a lot of stuff was happening that he could have used that to fill in with a little, you know, a flashback here or a little bit of dialogue there, and you know, the whole episode with all the flashbacks with Anakin. I was very confused what the lesson was. I liked what I was seeing. I liked that I was seeing Anakin with young Ahsoka, and it made me just think, God, if they had only just done this throughout the show, we would have gotten more Hayden, you know, because maybe there would have been a flashback in each one, and maybe it would have been a little bit like One Piece, where you see her with him, and they're very young, and maybe some of it would be a couple scenes that were rehashed from Clone Wars, but show us that relationship. Show us where that conflict, or where she's feeling conflicted, so that when they got to that episode and she has the near-death experience and she's having that resolution, I can be right there with you. And I was just sort of confused. I'm like, what is going on? Where are we? What's happening? And why are we jumping to all these different points in time? I'm not really sure where we are or what's going on. It's very cool, and there was some amazing imagery in every episode. There was stuff that I really liked, sandwiched between stuff that I just wish would have been better, you know. And you know, and I know, I mean, people that watch the show loved it, watch the cartoons, and I'm glad, you know, that you do. I just wish I could have had the same experience as you, because when I found out the show, this is the last thing I'll say, when I found out the show was being made after seeing her on Mandalorian, I was so excited. I was so excited for an Ahsoka show, and then every episode, I mean, I'm confused,
Well,
I'm lost, I don't know what's going on.
I'm just curious. Why did you not? Did you try Rebels? You just didn't like it, or you're just like, I don't want to watch an animated Star Wars, or you just didn't have time, or what was the reasoning behind not watching Rebels?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I never watched Clone Wars either. I just never really had the interest, I guess, to watch. And then, it's just not just that. I mean, I never watched all of the Batman animated series. I think Disney Gargoyles was like the only animated show I watched.
Amazing show.
Right? Fantastic.
Oh, good. Let's all agree on that for sure.
Yes, let's all agree on that. Gargoyles is fantastic. I just
Adrian, I was gonna try to circle back on you because we haven't heard from you in a minute, and I thought you might be a voice of reason between the two parties.
I do have some
now
reason.
I don't care. now you're irrelevant to me.
You hate gargoyles. Go away.
Well, before, and I do want to hear from Katrin, but do you think maybe Filoni, part of him not telling the story, is a little bit of an ego thing of like, you need to go watch my other stuff, otherwise you.
I mean, he said it before it started, though. He said, you know, be sure you watch at least this one episode, and you'll be fine. You know?
And
so
I think that's where some of the problem, because I didn't see him say that. I think some of the problem that happened there was that she was introduced in like Mandalorian and all that, and she was set up as like, oh, this is a cool character. Oh, she's really cool. I really like her. Yeah. Oh, there's a whole show about her. Oh yeah, I want to watch the whole show about her. Oh well, I don't know anything that's going on.
It's not her backstory.
Watch any of this other stuff.
Yeah.
So it didn't really, and it could have just been like a marketing thing. That they didn't really set it up properly to know that this is Ahsoka. You're gonna love her, but like you might want to go watch this stuff first, or this is basically this is Rebels. Another season of Rebels, like that wasn't necessarily put out there.
If it had been Ahsoka subtitled Rebels season, I'll say 6. I'm not sure where it was on. I mean, if I had known that going in, then I would have been like, I don't understand what's happening because I didn't watch the other numerous seasons. I mean, it would be like going in on the last season of Lost or something and being like, I don't understand what's happening. Well, I mean, dude, you got to watch the other stuff.
So what did you all think when you watched New Hope? for the first time.
A long, long ago.
Long time ago.
In this galaxy.
Like, who is Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah.
Who is Darth Vader? Why is he in this suit that he's got? Like, he's got this thing and it's breathing funny. Why is he breathing funny? And why is he so angry at all these people and coming in and killing everybody? And
he was a mystery.
Why do they care about Luke?
Well, they set it up as a mystery that would be answered, that you get answers to. It felt like it was. They were introducing these characters as you met them.
But were you frustrated that you didn't know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is?
Well,
or who
no,
Luke Skywalker
no,
is?
but they didn't really, like in Ahsoka, they didn't really set these things up as a mystery that they're going to answer later. They never answered them. It was like, and you don't know if they're going to be answered.
Well, they didn't answer it in New Hope. And
but there was character building in New Hope, right? When Luke sits with Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan says, "I fought in the Clone Wars along with your father." That gives you information right there. I don't know what Hera did with Ezra. They never explained it. So why do I care that they're having a reunion at the end? I don't even know who you guys are.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's a win-win for Ahsoka for
the non-believer.
Everyone. Well, no, I'm just saying, like,
I think Ray's not 100% wrong. Where I
don't think he's wrong, but I don't think he's wrong at all. But I'm just saying.
But he doesn't think I'm right.
No,
I think they could have added a little bit, but I loved it the way it was because, and I know Ryan's the same way because we did watch it and like invested in that storyline.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish there was a perfect world where you can make it would just have to be longer, I think.
Hey, and again, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
I think every once in a while they threw some lines in there, threw a little bit of a bone and like this is this, but yeah, there definitely could have been a little bit more development without giving away the whole thing.
And Ray's right too with they didn't develop Chopper at all in this, and like we just knew he was funny. But like, if you didn't know, I got to give you this: if you didn't know Chopper was funny and what he was doing, it wouldn't be funny. It was just like he's a droid that goes a little bit louder. Yeah, like I know that Chopper is really funny and devious, and because of
millions of people.
Yeah, because of Rebels. But like,
well, you just sold me, man. I'm gonna go watch Rebels. Chopper's killing millions of people.
He's one of the top assassins in Star Wars.
He's killed more people than anybody else in Star Wars.
Well, except for that whole Alderaan thing.
Oh yeah.
Looking for love,
which we don't know if he was behind that.
That was secretly his fault.
Yeah, he pushed the button.
He could have. He would. If somebody said, "Hey, those people down on Alderaan, they don't like the color of your dome." He'd be like, "They're gone."
Chopper's body count is as high as 50,000.
Wow, that's impressive for a droid.
Yeah,
for a little droid too.
He was okay killing civilians in this episode or in this series. He had no problem with it, but Hero's like, "No, we can't do that."
Look, I mean, I the fight scenes were great. Some of the visuals were just amazing.
All three of those girls were.
And that. The Anakin
the
stuff
VFX they did, really well. Yeah,
the Anakin stuff where he's like, fading between being Vader and Anakin, and amazing imagery. Just some really nice imagery and really nice effect shots that felt to me. Like the original trilogy, when you see like the Star Destroyer, the comp, and it didn't feel digital. It felt like they made a model of that, and they did that kind of stuff was really great.
I think the whole
I liked Thrawn. Sorry, I like Thrawn and how they portrayed him. Because I mean, it's the same actor that played him on the show. So he was in character. He knew the character. But just like little things that he would do that I kind of, at least to me, struck as like when they were leaving and he destroyed the temple, made me think of like World War II, whatever. Like if like the retreating enemies, it's like, oh, we're going to destroy the town, so the people left there can't use anything that we had. They can't learn anything. So it wasn't necessarily he didn't. Of course, Ahsoka was there, but it wasn't. To me, it wasn't like, shoot her, kill her. It was destroy this place so no one else can use it because we're done with it. Just stuff like that. Read well to me.
Yes. I'll give our listeners and Ray, just because you mentioned the statue earlier.
Yes,
that's how it ends. Okay.
When you're staring at Mount Doom, what's going on there?
The statues. The statues are of the Mortis gods. So you have the Father, the Son, and the Daughter. The statues that you saw the statues that you saw were only of the Father and the Son, and the statue of the Daughter's head was decapitated. In Clone Wars, the daughter gives up. They're like basically the Father, the Daughter, and the Son are sort of, they maintain the balance of the Force, and they're like great, like the most powerful Force wielders. The Son is the dark, represents the dark side. The Daughter represents the light side, and then the Father represents keeping them in balance.
Okay.
In Clone Wars, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and Anakin get taken to their place or whatever, where they reside.
In this other galaxy or in the main galaxy?
I don't know if it was ever said.
I don't think it was ever said. It was just sort of, they were just transported and they were there.
Okay.
The Father basically tells Anakin, you're the chosen one and you're going to take my place one day as the Father.
Okay.
Ahsoka, there's this big thing set up, and Anakin has to choose between Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. He has to make the decision, and he chooses not to make the decision, and he basically somehow overpowers these gods with his rage and everything to save. Ahsoka dies. The daughter gives up her life to save Ahsoka. So that's why you see the decapitated, because she's dead. Her Force spirit or whatever heals Ahsoka and then goes into this owl, and you see the owl follow Ahsoka along her journey. So you see an owl in the last episode. Ahsoka looks over, and the owl, the Morai, is there, and she flies away. So that's the sort of the Trinity or whatever. So you have the Father, the Son, and the Daughter. Balin has been called by this greater power, and you see him standing on the edge of the Father's hand, looking out, and you see this light in the distance. The theory, the biggest theory that this is going to be the thing that's calling to him is the Mother. We have not seen the Mother. The Mother is her name is Abeloth, and
this is with the witches.
No, the Mother is basically, so you have the Father, the Son,
and the Daughter.
The Mother was so evil that the three of them had to come together and imprison the Mother, Abeloth.
Okay.
So the theory is that the light that he's looking towards, that the hand is pointing to, is her prison. And he's going to go there to basically release her.
None of this was obvious from the episode, Ryan.
Well, I know.
That's a deep dive theory too. But also, one of the things too with the owl, or what is it called?
The Morai.
Yeah, the Morai. It's also like one of the fates. So when Ahsoka tells Sabine we're where we need to be, it's because the Morai was there. It's like that was their fate to be there. So, but again, that's even a deep dive to remember from Rebels.
I tell you, I remember. Abeloth hasn't been in anything. If she appears, this will be her first appearance.
Okay.
But she is gnarly. I don't know. This is Abeloth.
He's a Titan from Attack on Titans. Okay.
Yeah. She's got these like weird fingers, and her jawline is just all teeth.
Now, is she like a Sith or something, or no?
Like she
Worse.
is beyond
Worse?
Sith. She is
Oh,
worse.
okay.
That's why the dark side, the son and the daughter and the father all had to come together to imprison her.
Right, because she was uber
Because
bad.
she's
Okay.
uber, like she's like the worst of the worst. And there's a theory or that maybe that she possibly is the one that created the Night Sisters long ago. But that's how that started through her. So that's how they got their magic. That's how everything. So if they do this, it's going to be cool. But my concern is now that the actor who plays Balin sadly passed away, they'll either have to recast him or just sort of nix this whole.
I think they should just recast him.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to just recast him.
Yeah.
Because just having him disappear or CGI is just not going to work. And I think unanimously from everybody I've talked to, it's like just recast him.
Yeah, but he did such an amazing.
He was incredible.
Job.
He was perfect.
Incredible.
Perfect. He would have been perfect. Like, people pass away and you sympathize, but like he was so spot on for that role.
Yeah. And that's a role that nobody. I mean, it's a new role. It wasn't somebody from Rebels or anything, which is why people are saying the Shin character that was with him is going to become sort of a major role in this.
Are they going to be the Knights of Ren?
I don't know. If they go
very knighty the way they're dressed.
They definitely do.
The names of Shin and Balin, their last names are taken. Filoni likes to use wolves. They're taken from this old story about these two wolves. There was like the head wolf and the apprentice wolf or whatever, that are journeying together, and they get to this point, and the head wolf or Balin says our paths are going separate directions. One goes towards the moon and one goes towards the sun or something like that. It's an old story, but anyways, their last names are the names of those wolves. So I thought it was interesting when he said, okay, our paths are going different directions. And then I read that story and I'm like, oh, okay. So she can either be going to the good, or if they want to be, and this is just me theorizing, if they want to be weird, she could be a sacrifice for the mother, and she could become the mother role. Like she could be sacrificed, and she could be inhabited by
the body.
Yeah, she could be the body,
the host.
The host, because she's still there. So they could go that route, which would be cool because that actress is really good too. So to see her role expand would be cool. I don't know, but yeah. So those statues, yeah, and that could be a way to bring Anakin back into this. He could become that father role, the Mortis God. He could take over it because he is in the world between worlds.
And like I've said many times, the world between worlds just makes it so we can erase the last three movies. It'd be fantastic. They still exist, but they don't have to exist.
Multiverse.
But that could give us more Hayden Christensen if he takes on the Mortis God role. In this,
and they can prune that branch of the multiverse. They can prune that away.
Yeah. We'll get the TVA on it.
I hope so. Anyway, so seeing those statues for me got me excited because, again, I'm a super fan. I'm crazy for this stuff. Yeah. So seeing that got me so excited, but then realizing that the actor Ray Stevenson has passed away got me sad because I'm like, were they going to do a spinoff with Balin? Was he going to have his own stuff?
I was wondering if that's where it was going to end up going. Because I mean, honestly, I would have loved to see, how they like to have like an episode that's someone else's episode in someone else's show, like Mandalorian 2.5 that happened during Book of Boba Fett. I was like, you know what? If they want to do an entire episode of his backstory and how he met her and all of that, even if it's like 10-year jumps in time, I I would love to see your story because it sounds kind of
it's
like there's something kind of cool going on there, you know. So I just felt like he was absent like the last couple episodes. He just had like
forgotten about him.
singular scenes of him standing there scowling, and I was like, oh, that's right.
Don't forget about him.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm wondering if that was because they did have a big plan for him, obviously, in the
I
next
think so.
season, and they were like, "Oh, let's pull him back, and then bring him at the end, and then next season he's like, whoa, okay, what are we doing with this guy?"
Yeah.
He's wearing
Now-
a mask. He fell off that hand, and like he hit a rock, like right here, and so he was like, "I got to wear a helmet from now on." Hide his face.
I am glad that there was no Grogu and there was no Mandalorian.
Yes.
I'm glad they didn't pop up like, "Hey,
I was
hey
hoping
guys!"
with the space whales, you know, because he waves the space whales. I was like,
Yeah.
was
we found out that's
Ahsoka
a
in the way?
different time. That wasn't at the same time.
Well, I don't care.
No, I'm saying because people were like, "Oh, well, that means that season of Mandalorian happened at the same time that this is going on," which it didn't.
Ray, tell him why that doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter, right?
It's not Shakespeare.
Nobody cares.
Well, I'm saying, I mean,
It's just Star Wars. We're having fun, man.
well, the reason we know that's not that was a different time is because they talk about John what's his name?
John
Carter of Mars.
No, John Carlos,
Moff
whatever
Gideon?
his name is. Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
They talk about Moff Gideon and his failure to do what he
The
was gonna
uprising,
do.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they talk about that in the episode where they're at the committee thing or whatever. So we know that that's already happened, and we're like present or whatever, or however you do that. It's a long, long time ago, so it's not present. But
In a galaxy far, far away.
yeah. Oh, I did love that. And we didn't talk about my favorite character of the show, which was Hu Yang, the droid. I loved him, and I loved that. You know, when they're sitting in the ship, and he's like, "Do you want me to tell a story?" And she's like, "Okay." And he goes, "A long, long time ago." I was like, "Yes."
Not long.
Well, whatever. A long time ago. Whatever.
Just one long.
But then it makes you think: is Star Wars just him telling these stories to like people, to younglings and stuff? Because that's where it came from. Anyways, I liked his character. I liked that they brought him over. He's like the oldest, basically one of the oldest droids ever. He's been around forever. I like the whole scene where he's getting the lightsaber parts out, and he's like, "Oh, I held on to this one," which is Kanan, another character from Rebels who trained Ezra. This was part of his lightsaber, so Ezra's new lightsaber has part of Kanan's lightsaber. Yeah.
Maybe they could just have him do like a recap of Clone Wars and Rebels, and just like a little soundbite for people that have.
Maybe they're going to do a little spin-off thing.
You got to remember that this is Disney, and for years now, their marketing has sucked. So I don't blame this completely on Filoni, the stuff that you're saying. I blame it more on
Kathleen
Disney.
Kennedy's hands are all over that.
Yeah. So, you know, they're just not going to.
I'm sure they if they had went with, "Hey, you got to watch these before you watch this," the viewership would have been down. It wouldn't have been as much.
Yeah, it might
I think
even
people are like, "Oh, I don't want to watch all that to watch this. Right. Nah, I'm not going to watch it."
And maybe that the questions will make people want to watch it.
Yeah. But you know what? I just had a thought. They could have gotten it out of the way. Very first episode, it could have been a retelling or what have you of an episode of Rebels, live action with all the principal characters that are in the show, kind of like a prologue. It could have been like 10 minutes, and it could have set up who they were and their relationships and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then it flashes back to now.
That's going to be in
and that could have been all the hand holding that they needed to do that would have. I think for Ryan and Derek, I think you guys probably would have been excited to see something from Clone Wars or Rebels like recreated in live action for that 5 to 10 minutes. And then that would have been like, this is designed to get you up to speed real fast on who these characters are, because now we're going to hit the gas and we're going to start going.
Yeah, it would have set up the relationships to know like who people
you're going to
are.
have some fun dialogue with Ezra and Sabine, and
it's going to be the special edition.
Yeah, it wouldn't even have to be a recreation of something on the show. It could have been totally something new
could have
that
been
you just
something
didn't
unique.
see,
Yeah,
like
totally.
in the show.
It's a special edition version. It'll come out in 3 years. Walmart exclusive.
But, that's you guys are right though, because a prime example is like we've seen Zeb on Mandalorian, or was it Boba Fett?
It was
Mando, right?
Yeah. But like, if you don't know who he is. So he's just there.
a
So
cool guy in a bar. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the Easter egg there. That's okay. But I think you're right. If they had done a little recap or something, or like just that whole crew sitting on their ship and you see him, you're like, wait, I remember seeing him from the other series. Who's that? I think that might have even made more people want to watch.
You could have had Ezra's master there too, because they kept talking about him, but I was like,
Kanan, the greatest Jedi ever lived.
I don't know who this guy is. I mean, who's your master? But I don't know. They could have jumped to a point in time when everyone was alive and everyone was together, and it kind of like they do. I don't know, like in like Indiana Jones, when it starts and he's on a mission and he's like doing stuff, and it's kind of setting up what's going to then end up happening when we jump to the future or what have you. It would have been fun. I think fans would have dug it, and people new to all of this would have appreciated a little bit of getting us up to speed with everyone else. So so now some stuff like the statues and the sword, maybe that couldn't have all been jammed in there, but at least the character relationships.
It would have helped the characterization. I think if that was better, some of the other stuff you could like kind of ignore. You wouldn't really, it wouldn't bother you as much.
I think it would have hurt it. That's for sure.
No.
I didn't watch the Ahsoka special look. I don't know if they did anything in that or not. That was on Disney Plus.
Was this after the show finished, or was this before?
No, it came out like when it came out. It came out when the show came out. It was called Master and Apprentice, a special look at Ahsoka.
Now I gotta watch behind the scenes stuff.
It was only 7 minutes long, so I don't know what all they talked about in it.
Oh, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But time for that time.
So one of the things I wondered about, and kind of jumping back to Hu Yang, do you think he documented where they went from when they got into the whales and went to this planet? So like, does he know how to get back?
I think so.
He just they don't have enough fuel or the power to get there, right?
Yeah. It's all about the power. It's all about having the right amount of
they find He-Man
engines.
And he has the power.
I mean, I think unless he could probably do it because they were inside the whales. They were inside the Purgle's mouth the whole time.
The computers would have done it if he did.
I mean, he seemed to know, like, oh, we're slowing down. He seemed to know.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I told my family. I was like, they'll get back. I don't think they have to worry about it. But then I was like, oh yeah, they don't really have fuel. But surely the turtle people have fuel they can give him, or they've
use
got some
the
way
turtle people. They grind them down.
That's what it is.
They're a natural resource of energy.
And the turtles look like the turtle from Rocco's Modern Life. Filbert. It's Filbert. Like they came on, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a bunch of Filberts.
Oh, my sinuses. Oh,
oh, Rocco.
We didn't talk about the little turtles, but I liked them. They were fun. I think it showed that planet was not
Disney
just
had to put in more little characters. Sell merch. We get it.
I like that it showed that planet was not just evil. That there was good there too. That it wasn't because it made you feel like you were going to this, like, basically they called it the Wells Graveyard and this evil place, but then you had this nomad group of turtle people that were nice.
Just because it was a graveyard, the Jedi think that death is one of the biggest honors. So it's a balance in the Force, Ryan.
Oh, I'm just
did you watch Star Wars?
I'm just saying, I like that they had the little turtle people. Some people were giving a hard time, but I was like,
this is Shakespeare here. It's not fun.
It's not Shakespeare.
It's Star Wars. It's serious.
It's fun. It's Star Wars.
It's not fun. It's serious.
So is that the title of this episode? It's not Shakespeare. It's Star Wars.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my, I like it.
But yeah, so
So
I'm excited.
what's next on the Star Wars docket?
Everything got messed up because of the strike.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff got pushed back.
Was Acolyte the next thing that was coming out, or
Skeleton Crew was supposed to be. I thought.
They're going to have Bad Batch season 3.
Okay.
Will be the next thing, I think. Visions. Was there no Visions? No. Maybe? No. No, there's not another
No,
Visions.
they did that already.
Yeah. So you got Skeleton Crew and you got Acolyte. Are the only other two shows. And then you have Mandalorian season 4 in there somewhere.
And there was supposed to be another season of the other one that I didn't finish. Andor. Yeah,
another season of Andor. I'm not sure. I think Bad Batch is the very next thing. Because I'm pretty sure they're finished with that. I'd have to look it up.
Probably for the best because I didn't love all of season 2.
Yeah, it wasn't as strong as the first season.
Yeah,
it wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't
bad.
like,
Bad Batch to me is like Clone Wars. There's good and bad episodes.
That's why I call it Bad Batch.
Yeah, it's like
it had a very.
Well, this one's kind of.
It had a very sad.
Batch.
Very sad moment in Bad Batch.
So I found a timeline. It says possibly 2024 for Skeleton Crew, and then Andor season 2 August 2024, and then the Acolyte TV series 2024, and then
they're not going to hit
Taika Star Wars movie in development. There's a bunch of movies in development, and there's some things that they say got canceled. Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy.
Cancel? Oh no!
I'm so upset.
I know, right? Kevin Feige Star Wars movie canceled.
Glass Onion movies, and I'm good with that. I like those. So.
Yeah, continue making those.
The Book of Boba Fett season 2 is status unknown right now. The Rogue Squadron movie is status unknown.
That one got canceled, I think.
Well, this is, but
Boba Fett can keep being unknown. That's fine.
That's right.
I want to see what happens to. I want to see what happens to.
Season 2. He's in a coma.
Yeah, it was obviously very memorable.
The sheriff. No, the sheriff. I forget his sheriff's name. Oh,
Cobb.
Yeah.
You know who I'm. You know.
What are you talking about? The guy that had his armor for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that actor, Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah, I like him. Just do a show on him. That's fine.
That would be awesome. I would love a show on him. That'd be cool.
Because the second season of like Boba Fett would just be him in a sauna now. He moved from like the tub to the sauna.
Man, if they did a whole show about just they did just a straight up space western, just straight up western with him, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Cobb
Vanth. Yeah.
Cobb Vanth. That's it.
There you go.
Anyways,
of course, you said the cowboy show or movie. That's what the first season of Mandalorian was. What's what we said? It's like this is cowboy.
Yeah,
show.
I meant like him as a sheriff in a town.
Yeah.
Like just straight up, like
Did you just do spaghetti western nonstop?
Just like a Tombstone like type show with him as the main character. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Oh.
I was kidding.
I think Shakespeare said that.
No, I don't know.
This isn't Shakespeare. This is fun. We're having fun, guys.
What we've learned from this episode is that if you are a super fan, you love this show. If you're not a super fan, it needs some work, which is fine. We can all have our own opinions about TV shows because it's a TV show. It's fine. I really enjoyed it.
I think good points were made on both sides.
Yes. I hope that, they haven't announced series 2 or season 2. I've been watching too many British things because everything there is series. Their seasons are called series. They haven't announced season 2, so I don't know if they're going to do a season 2 or if it's just going to be more stuff and people are going to come together in Mandalorian season 4.
Well, it's their highest rated series behind Loki, right?
Probably. So I'm guessing they'll do I don't know if they're going to do a season 2 or if they're going to go straight into this movie stuff.
Oh,
you know what I'm
At
saying?
this point, that's what it looks like. But
yeah. I think they're gonna have to wait a while.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
It would be weird to jump into a movie with all the principal characters of this show, save Ezra, in another galaxy, and then the big bad is over here.
unless that's the
Mhm.
movie.
He's doing
right?
big bad things, and they're over here
Yeah.
in a completely different storyline.
I'm thinking maybe season 4 of Mandalorian, they're going to be more coming together of different.
Mm.
Some of the Ahsoka characters will be meeting up
Can
with
we
some of the
just get-
Mandalorian characters.
We just get Crimson Dawn. I mean, I need some Amelia in my life.
I think she said she would come back and do more,
She better.
but they have not presented anything to her. So, anyways, all
that
right. So
you
yeah,
know of.
that's Ahsoka. So Ray, I challenge you to don't go. You don't have to go
To
watch.
a fight to the death.
No.
Three times.
No.
Physical combat.
No,
Pistols at dawn.
That's not what I was going to say.
Cool.
Clearly, I have more lightsabers. No, what I was going to say is, even if you don't want to watch Rebels, just go see if you can find some scenes with Chopper, just for the laughs. Because
I will go to YouTube and I will
Chopper
put in
is
how many
funny.
how many people has Chopper killed and see what comes up.
Yeah,
Wow.
Chopper's fun. He's one of my favorite droids. Yeah, so check out Chopper.
And if you're gonna watch any of Clone Wars, watch the last season.
The last season's phenomenal. Yes,
That's the best season.
Season 7, the one
Whatever
that
the
just
last
came
season
on
is.
whatever
Clone
they
Wars.
like a year ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I did watch that.
Okay.
My daughter wanted me to watch it, and I enjoy. Real fast on that. The episodes with these sisters who I didn't know who the heck they were. I'm like, who are these people? I was like, really? We're spending time with these people in the last season of Clone Wars? Could we maybe get to Anakin or somebody else? I don't know who these two are.
That was the problem with that. I think they sort of had to bring in new characters because that season was going on when basically Anakin was, but the movies were going on.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was happening at the same time.
Yeah, same time as episode.
Yeah,
3.
that season basically bridged Clone Wars into.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
the movie.
Nobody knew who those girls were. They just sort of. I think they were in. One of them was in maybe another episode, like further back. I don't know. Yeah. So, if you didn't know who Jason, that little kid was, that was the
Hera,
Jedi,
Kanan.
Kanan Jedi that we've been talking about. That was his son.
Oh.
Yeah, him and Hera fell in love and had a baby, and then he died. Well, she died, and then they had a baby. How did he die?
No, the baby.
Oh no, they had fun on the ship.
It was the Force.
It's midichlorians.
Oh, it was the Force, all right.
Yeah, it was the Force, all right.
There were definitely midichlorians.
Yes. There's some force pushing going on there.
And I know, Ray, you're Ray, I know you guys got canceled.
That's where Sabine learned it. Okay.
Ray, I know that you're a big fan of Freddie Prinze Jr., and that's who voices Kanan. So.
Oh well, sign me up. I'm gonna start binging tonight.
I know what you did last summer.
Which you saw if you watched Bad Batch, then you saw Kanan as a child.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb Doom. That was his
He's all
real
that.
name. Yeah.
He's
Anyways,
all
all right. So that's been episode
283.
283 of
Not even my
iamGEEK.
show, and I know what it is.
And Derek,
Good
go
listener
ahead.
right there.
Go ahead. Take us out, Derek.
All right. Well, this has been episode 283 of I Am Geek podcast. On behalf of Ryan, Chris, Katrin, I'd like to thank our guests, Ray and Derek B. Frey. Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.